Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mike on the Stool. I am Aiden.
And I'm Gabe.
Yeah, he's not on screen because the camera can't fit both of us. Today, we talk about My Hero Academia. Now, you may think there's not much to talk about because it's very mainstream, but did not see it until this year and last year,
He
and I
finished
have
it.
brains.
He finished it at 3:34 a.m.
All right.
And then 7 hours later, I spammed him that My Hero is shit.
My Hero, I think it started in 2016. The anime started airing. That was a little bit after I started to get into anime, but I just never watched it. It is, it was a lot of people's gateway anime. It's the first one they ever watched. It's my 67th, so I'm gonna have maybe a different perspective to some other people. First, just gonna do talk about general things about it before going into specific seasons and stuff. It's a very basic shonen, I think. We've talked about this before. The good traits are fantastic. They're done really, really well. The bad parts of shonen are in My Hero. Make me want to put my balls in the blender. So, I think that's about accurate.
Yeah. One of those highs are highs, but lows are low.
Yep. And there's not much in between. So I have, since I'm not great at talking on the fly, I have a list of notes and stuff on my laptop over here, which is why I'm looking down. At some point, it just kind of turned into a script for some reason, so that's probably not going to help. But I have at the beginning bullet points of like presentation, overall story, and then going into specific seasons and stuff. Presentation, this is the first one I wrote, so might as well start. The art style, I think, is pretty good. It's very distinct from other anime, and it's very flexible. You can have a lot of different types of characters in it. Like, you can have Fat Gum and freaking, I don't know, Stain in the same series, and it doesn't look awkward. So I appreciate that about it. There's, one part of a show's visual identity kind of gets looked over is the backgrounds, which are honestly really boring in My Hero Academia. I think there's like one that looks really good, the beach with All Might and Deku at the very beginning in season one. That looked quite good. Otherwise, it's a lot of grays, a lot of the same texture. I didn't notice that until like season four. Like I noticed the texture before, but then in season four, it's just like only this that texture for like every object.
The same sky tune every scene.
Like I pulled up an example. I noticed this in season five, and I was like, that does not look like a real city.
No,
Like,
it doesn't.
bruh. And then there was also in the
Gentle criminal fight.
gentle criminal fight. The whole time I was just like, why does the forest look so bad? Like it might not be as noticeable without like a direct comparison, but like the I don't know, something is just off about the grass and like the all of the green stuff.
In
is-
my opinion, the grass is the only thing that looks weird. It looks
Yeah.
like
It-
munched up salad.
It's really just the grass, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the trees and the bushes all look fine.
Yeah, they look fine.
It's the grass.
Yeah. It is very weird looking grass.
Looks like mowed lawn.
Yeah, I don't know how this got through. This is like a big fight. And like they've done it like forest well in the same series. Like in season 3 there was a lot of forest stuff and it looked good. I think there's also
I mean, a lot of that forest stuff wasn't. It was a lot of dirt.
That's true.
There wasn't very much grass.
Anyway,
This is just a grassy
yeah.
forest.
Some of the backgrounds are usually boring, sometimes they just straight up look bad. And sometimes they're, most of the time they're just passable. I think it is pretty well directed. There's a lot of good shots in it, which is good. There's some good sakuga. If you don't know what sakuga is, it's just like those moments where the animation gets really good out of nowhere. So the animation for the entire series is pretty average, but then when you get to the points where it really matters, it just goes like 100% like pretty epic stuff. Very well animated when it needs to be. And as to be expected from Bones, the studio that does this, who also did all the Full Metal Alchemist stuff and Mob Psycho 100. The soundtrack you hear, we're going into sound now. Soundtrack is very good, I think. I sometimes I was watching and I was like, man, this soundtrack is great. And then I tried to imagine the scene without the soundtrack, and I'd be like, wow, this would just suck.
The music carries it, that's
It-
for sure.
Yeah, it like it takes a good moment to like a super hype moment. Final part of like the presentation aspect. I think the voice acting is mostly good. There's some I think just parts that I think are a little over the top, but it's not a big deal. And sound effects are fine. Don't really have any complaints there. Next to the overall story, these are just kind of random notes I wrote down, so there's not much of a theme here. We talked about this the other day, but I actually wrote down this bullet point beforehand. It doesn't feel like natural progression after a while. Like, maybe end of season 3 and throughout pretty much all of season 4, it just feels like we're not doing anything. Uh, there's not really a sense of time. Uh, I don't remember how to expand on that. We talked about this, though.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's hard to see progress
Yeah.
and keep track of progress when the sense of time is practically not there.
uh-huh.
Over the span of a few episodes, either several minutes or several hours, several days go by.
Yeah.
It's really inconsistent, so it's hard to check progress where it's like, has it been a week, has it been a
Yeah.
year? Like, did he make this
Yeah.
little progress in like 2 days, or did he make this little progress in like 4 years?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
hard to
pretty
judge
much.
that stuff without a solid sense of time, which My Hero does struggle with.
Yeah. What do I have next? That basically what you just said. I just didn't read further. uh, oh, I wrote. It feels like the author is just making up new roadblocks for the characters, and the more stuff that pops up, the less important it feels, and there isn't as much tension as a result. Uh, I don't really understand any of the words that I wrote down myself, but it's probably makes sense. Characters, I made a lot of stuff for characters. Uh, I just started with Class 1A. Not really, let's just start basically. I don't really know how to feel about the characters, because sometimes I'm like, I hate everybody, and then like other times I'm like, yeah, these are my boys. There's a lot of characters. Just because it's set in a school, you have to have like 20 characters in the class, so that's already a lot. Then there's the teachers, other heroes like Endeavor,
Present Mike and
yeah, and like
Genus.
then you have like characters' families. Uh, there's something else.
The other classes.
Villains.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters. And sometimes it plays to the show's strengths, and sometimes it is a horrible weakness. Because since there's so many, you can't really develop all of them. And there's some characters that don't really need to be developed. They just need to be there for the action scenes. Then there's sometimes like they try to develop a lot of the characters somewhat, and sometimes it feels like it's cool that all these characters have some form of development. But then other times it's like this is a character that's shown up in the background for like the entire thing. Then they got development, and then they just went back to the background, and that time should have been allowed for someone else.
Hiroshima.
Yeah. Then there's Deku, the protagonist. He's a very by the books shonen protagonist. I don't really know how to feel about him either. I don't really like identify with him. I'm not really connected to him. I'm not really like, man, Deku's the coolest man ever. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, why does Deku cry all the time? Because he really doesn't. He's just kind of annoying. And he doesn't really have a super compelling internal conflict. He's just like a good boy. Maybe too good. Because basically all of his internal conflict is like, I'm not nice enough to this person, or like, I'm not good enough at saving people. I think I might be getting that wrong, but it's something along those lines.
His internal conflict, at least in my head, is his predecessor is the number one hero, and he has to live up to that, and so he's trying to be the best he can be.
Yeah, that is. I when that comes up, I like it, but a lot of the time it just feels like it's just non-existent.
I feel like that's what it should be, but that's not what it's portrayed as all the time. Because I do agree that most of the time it does feel like the internal conflicts are just really minor,
Yeah.
like not super important things.
And I don't know if anything happens in the manga. I've only seen the TV show, so not talking about like, oh, this happens in the future. No.
A lot of the internal conflicts are small, irrelevant things,
Hmm.
and I feel like the overarching thing is not only does he have the dream of being the number one hero. Now he has the opportunity to, but his his master was the previous number one hero,
Hmm.
and now he has to live up to that.
Hmm. Then I wrote Todoroki. What's his name? Shoto
Shoto,
Todoroki.
yeah, Shoto
Best
Todoroki.
character by far. Very interesting, the stuff with his dad and expectations and blah blah blah. If you've seen the show, you know why he's good. I feel like I don't have to uh, word
I definitely feel like he's
explain
one of the
that
most
much.
fleshed out characters.
Yeah, he's very fleshed out, and he's like everything he does. It feels like is justified with his personality, where
And
some
in
other characters are not. He's likable. He's hot. Good design.
cool
Uh,
powers.
cool powers. Cool backstory. Cool ongoing drama with other like family and stuff.
Abusive father.
Pretty epic.
Yeah.
We all love our abusive fathers.
No, I don't. Get it?
Uh,
Because I was abused as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next note I had was about Bakugo. We've talked about this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
For the first 4 seasons, he's just a douchebag, very unlikable. His anger is to the point of it's just too over the top. It's to the point of like unbelievability to like where someone will just say something like, "Look, it's a bowl," and then Bakugo will have like 2 answers. He's like, "Urusei!" or like, "What the shine," and that's it.
Yeah.
It's like, shut up and die. This is like the pinnacle of a character I don't like. It is cool that some of the characters have quirks that match their personalities, like Bakugo.
Yeah.
It's not like that for every character, but when it is, I think it's pretty cool. Next, female characters. I have a whole paragraph about them. They're just there's a lot to unpack. There's a reason I'm not talking about each of them individually because they are not that unique to each other. One exception is Jiro. Jiro's the best.
Agreed.
The female characters, they all like service. They all serve to just as like your average female archetypes and stereotypes and whatever. Frequently sexualized in a way that is uncomfortable. Sometimes it's not fan service, not done well. We'll get to Mineta in a second.
They're children.
Yeah. I mean, usually I don't care, to be honest. I'm just used to it.
They give me
Yeah.
the ickies.
They all have the same body type. Most, not all of them, but like the vast majority of them, which isn't something I'd usually like complain about. But like, there's like 50 of them.
Yeah.
It's like at least like give me some variety. Just like random like minor characters. Like there's one I don't like some journalist in one filler episode in like the first episode of season 4
Mhm.
just also has just giant boobs for some reason. I'm like, oh.
And then there's
okay.
there's the one blue girl from Night Eye's agency, some random
Yeah,
sidekick character. That
Just,
I hated
like
that.
what kind of costume is that? Like,
Yeah.
no shame.
Half her tits was there.
Yeah, come on.
That was
That was weird. Freaking Yaoyorozu's quirk feels like a justification for her outfit as well. Because it felt like they just made the design and was like, all right, she's showing a lot of skin. We have to make a reason for her to do that.
She has to show skin for her quirk to work.
Yeah.
That
that's
rhymed.
convenient.
I feel like they should have given that to a dude.
Yeah. There's that one like teacher or teacher. I don't know.
Midnight.
Yeah, Midnight. She's just like dressed in like BDSM stuff.
Latex
And
clothing with a whip.
is attracted to teenagers.
Yeah.
Not a great look for the show, I don't think. Yeah.
We love pedophiles.
It's pretty epic. All this stuff just it's kind of ridiculous. It feels like, the main female character is Uraraka or Ochiko, and she's just a love interest for Deku. That's just
I'm
that's the only reason she's there.
I'm really disappointed with the females in My Hero.
Yeah.
They had a really good opportunity for like good, powerful female characters,
Mm-hmm.
and then they were just like boobies.
Yeah. They set it up, and then they just went the complete opposite direction.
Yeah. It's disappointing, but
Yeah.
nothing you can do about it now.
Yeah.
And
we're a bit too far in, but Jiro's epic.
From what I remember, it doesn't get better.
I didn't think it would. I put Mineta in the female characters part, not because he's a female character, but because his entire character revolves around female characters. He's the pervert character.
The worst kind.
So the I forget his name. The lightning guy is also like with him sometimes, but like he's vastly less gross.
He's like the average teenage boy.
Yeah.
Like boobies.
Yeah.
And then there's Mineta.
Yeah. Like there's so much. Just they use them as a vehicle to show fan service, and then they're like, "Oh, Mineta, that's bad." But like the show is still going out of its way to show us this, so it just feels very not genuine. If you do fan service, just be upfront about it.
Like in Fire Force. They're not subtle about it, they're just like boobs.
Every time I'm like, all right, I'm kind of chilling out on Mineta. He's just said something just freaking horrendous.
Yeah.
Like
you're finally over the previous moment.
Yeah.
And then he does something new.
I haven't got over season 4 school festival arc. First time the characters are meeting Eri, he walks up to Eri. First thing he says, "I can't wait to see how you look in 10 years."
Pedophile.
I was like, why do you do this?
Why? That was literally the worst thing they could have done.
Yeah. It's like, how am I supposed to respect this show? This show has no integrity.
You literally went up to a child and be like, "I can't wait till you're an adult."
Yeah, like, come on, man. Maybe it wouldn't be as bad if he didn't show up so often, and every time he shows up, it's just for the same kind of joke. He's like, I didn't go in and count every Mineta joke, but it's
at least one every like 2 or 3 episodes.
One every like 2 or 3 episodes, and it's always the worst joke they could have ever made.
I feel like a lot of the scenes with him are like elongated for no reason.
Yeah.
It's like he shows up and then it's like 20-30 seconds of just like him fantasizing about like having like an orgy with all the women.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, really?
Yeah.
You could have just saved 20-30 seconds. It could have been 5 seconds of him being like, "Boobies!"
Yeah.
And then like moving on. But
Yeah. Speaking of comedy, the humor is hit and miss.
more miss than hit.
Mostly miss. There's a lot of reasons for this. Mostly that are very simple jokes that are very over the top, and they just reuse them for 113 episodes. I think it got especially bad when they moved into the dorms, because they're like, oh, all the characters are like living together, so we have more opportunity to show jokes. New mecha anime came out. Where was I? Let's talk about the comedy.
Yeah,
that's.
the dorms.
I think I really just said all there needs to be said. It's just not that funny. Maybe it would be funnier if I was watching an English dub, because comedy works a lot better in your own native language because of this thing called comedic timing, which just doesn't exist when you're watching in different languages.
I also feel like social jokes make a lot more sense if you're a part of that culture.
Yeah, there were jokes that like I understood because I know some about Japanese like culture and society, but I feel like the normal person would be like, what? Non-school characters, we're still going on about characters because there's just a lot of them. I think that the top heroes like All Might when he was at his prime, I guess, and Endeavor have great presence. Like every time they're on screen, it's like, whoa.
You're kind of glued on.
Yeah, like, oh, now I'm interested.
Yeah.
Then, the villains, pretty decent all the way through. Some of them are a little underwhelming. I think Overhaul from Season 4 was kind of lame. But then, like, One for All, at least, like, when he was actually, like, fighting was very cool. Again, he had a lot of presence to him. The Nomus are a pretty cool idea. Shigaraki, I think his name is, the guy with the blue hair and the hands. Like, he was, like, he had some really like threatening stuff. He felt like a threat, and until like he showed up in season 4 and didn't do anything. But then in season 5 they gave him a really cool backstory, and then I was like, oh, now he's a threat again. He's just kind of like sitting in the background for a lot of the time. But yeah, some other like I mean, everything I said about the League of Villains can just apply to what I just said. Stain is great.
One of my favorite villains.
I wrote a part about him later, but Gentle Criminal I'll talk about. I like Gentle Criminal and La Brava. They're entertaining characters.
They, in my opinion, they feel the most human,
Yeah.
which I really appreciate.
This section is called General Narrative Stuff and Complaints. I feel like they need to stop babying the audience. I don't know if that is explanatory or not. Like they always like every season they remind us who the characters are.
Re-explain the hero society.
Re-explain everything.
Yeah.
Like season like at the end of season 5 they were still like putting like Izuku Midoriya on screen, like as a card like when he showed up, and I was like, I've been watching for 100 episodes.
I think I know who this is.
I know who it is.
This is the main fucking character.
Yeah, like, come on. And like they have the commercial screens for that too.
Yeah,
Like it's a little too much.
I kind of like the commercial screens. If they didn't select the same characters over and over.
Yeah. I don't think it's a bad idea for a commercial screen. But yeah. There's also like recaps at the beginning of every episode. Maybe help when you're watching it live, but like binge watching it. By the way, surprisingly easy to binge watch, which I'm usually not good at. But when you're like watching episodes over and over again, I feel like it's a little too much. Some of the flashbacks, like not really actually narrative flashbacks, but when a character is just like
all 84% of them.
Yes.
The whole 84% of this series.
I remember this from the Bakugo Deku fight from the end of season 3. I do remember part about it. Near the end, Deku just had like a quick flash of like All Might, and he was like, I don't remember, like I need to like be the surpass All Might or something like that. And they did a quick flash of All Might, and I was like, well, what was the point of having that? I know what's gonna, and I know this is about All Might already. Like this, it's just like it feels weird and misplaced, and that happens not super often, but enough to where I got annoyed. Another example. At the end of season 4, there was a really strange Jiro flashback at the school festival. Okay. Next part I wrote was about humor, which I already talked about. Oh, there's the part I forgot to mention. There are jokes that are like I'm about to laugh at, and then they just like have a character be like tell you why it was supposed to be funny, which then makes it immediately unfunny. Like freaking Deku just has like freaking 100% what's it called?
100% power.
100% power, and he just uses it all in a fart. And I'm like, damn, that was hilarious. And then freaking I don't know, some other character's like, he farted really loud. Yes, he did. And it's not super uncommon in anime, but that just means it's bad in all the anime. Alright, now we get into more specifics about the specific seasons and all that, specific arcs. What I liked about them, what I didn't like about Season 1, I thought, pretty basic introduction, but it worked quite well, I thought. Everything was set up to be interesting. I felt like, there was some great action and stuff. It did feel like a part 1, but it showed a lot of great potential, and it made me excited for the future.
Question. Was that excitement built in season 1 disappointed or succeeded? It sucked.
Succeeded in season 2. So that season 2 was great.
No, I'm saying like overall, like
overall,
the excitement you had for the series, was it met or were you disappointed?
I think it was about met. Because it wasn't like because it wasn't like I can't wait to see where this goes next. I was like, this has potential. I feel like this could go somewhere.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I'm just not emotional about it that much. that was the shortest little blurb I had about a season one, because it's only 13 episodes, so it's I think just one arc, and there's not as much happening. But yeah, it was good setup and good build up. Season two was great. I think so far this is the peak of My Hero Academia, the anime. It starts with a tournament arc, which is pretty hard to do wrong, and they don't do it wrong. They don't do it wrong. They do a good job, getting us to root for each character. They show us specific backstories, and it doesn't, like, the flashbacks don't feel like forced or out of place or anything. It flows really well. It feels like there's actually stakes to what's happening. It feels like the tournament is important, and maybe most importantly of all, since the good guys are fighting against each other, there's no feeling like, oh, Deku's gonna win because he's the main character and he can't die, because he's not going to die in this situation. So you don't know if he's actually gonna win. What do I have next? The fights are also interesting, and I wrote down basically 3 guidelines for a quintessential anime fight. Number 1, you have to care about it. I just explained why this tournament arc does it well, because it gives us the backstories. It's like, this is what the character's fighting for, and now watch them fight people. Number 2, has to be an interesting fight. I think this tournament arc also did that really well. The fights are all pretty interesting. Each character has to plan around with the other person's quirk and learn about how their quirk works and stuff.
Also, their inspirations to win that fight are each different.
Yeah,
and help build characters.
I was trying to say that. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's strategy about, because it's a tournament, you have to stay in bounds, all that kind of stuff. I think it's brilliant how Deku, since his body isn't ready for the power, he can only use his he can only use it a limited amount of times. So he has to plan around that, which I think is really cool.
Like using one finger to do another attack, or another finger to blow himself out of the way.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm down to 3 more shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good at building tension and building epic moments.
And you're like, oh shit, he's used all 5 fingers, and then he uses a broken finger
He uses
again.
his cock.
And then you're like, oh, I didn't know you could use another broken finger. Now that one finger's extra fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lastly, hopefully the fight is well animated and succeeds there, of course. I think specifically the Deku Todoroki fight is incredible. I think
One of the best in the series.
I think it's very good fights, very well animated. It's Todoroki, so he's the best character, so you really care about him winning, but also you're like, man, I Deku.
Yeah.
So it's just everything you want in a tournament, and it's right there, and it's great. We rewrite the entire thing, but have Jiro as the main character.
Or maybe an actual female character. I think that would be pretty pog.
Yeah. I did write, I forgot to mention this, I felt like Deku just doesn't have much presence as a protagonist. I don't know.
No, I agree.
He doesn't really have one of those moments where you're like, yeah, Deku's here. It's like, oh, hi Deku.
Yeah.
If Goku shows up in Dragon Ball, it's like,
uh-oh, shit's about to go down.
yeah. And stuff like that, and it
Yeah.
just doesn't really feel like that.
Deku shows up and you're like, uh-oh, he's about to get beat down.
It's either he's going to get absolutely destroyed or he's going to win no contest.
Yeah.
Other than in this tournament arc, I think, or before he can control all of his powers.
I do think that Deku became less exciting when he learned to control his powers.
Yeah, I did write that down later. But we're still in the good stuff, or the best stuff, I should say. Beyond the tournament arc, because that was great. It's still just peak, not peak fiction, but peak My Hero Academia. Deku learning full cowling was great. It felt like a natural progression for that his powers. There's great stuff with Ida and his brother. There's Stain, who was a great villain and had a big impact on the narrative. And overall, it just felt like the story was progressing in a really exciting way, and I thought it was quite good. Just kidding, it sucked. Got baited. Do you have anything to say about season 2?
Um, I just echoing what you said.
All right.
I had nothing more for me to add.
Monkey. Season 3. I don't think I think it was a little bit of a step down from season 2, but I still enjoyed it. Still pretty good. It starts with the training camp arc in the forest. I thought the training was entertaining. The fights were good when stuff started to go down. The stuff with the little kid Kota was pretty epic. I thought that stuff was interesting. Oh, and like I like seeing how students were like working together with their like new like improvements and stuff. Then there is the All for One versus All Might thing in about the middle of the season. That was great. Every once in a while you're just like, oh yeah, this is good. Whoa, and you just get like a legendary moment out of nowhere. All for One versus All Might was epic. Just completely changed the direction of the series, or like the story, and it was just a great time. Great few episodes. Very impactful. After this, the Class 1A moved into the dorms, and it was fun at first. It was fun to see, the characters, like, goofing off. But very quickly, it started to get on my nerves. I was just getting really annoyed and felt like none of this was going anywhere.
During what?
When they moved into the dorms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that would continue for a little bit. I think around here is when I stopped watching for a little bit.
You did take a break.
I don't remember how long, but I took a break, and then we came back like a month or so later, or maybe a couple months. So my memory of this upcoming stuff is a lot more fresh than the first 3 seasons, or the first 2 seasons and most of season 3. One problem with like the characters hanging out in dorms is like there's like never actually a real conversation, because since there's like 15 characters in the room and they try to like give everyone at least one line, and it just doesn't feel like anything is actually happening. The last few episodes, when I picked back up, I didn't really care at all. It didn't really pull me back in for some reason, but I kept watching anyway. For some reason, I just didn't care about the Bakugo Deku fight. Even I watched it and I was like, okay, it's animated and I should care about this. I just don't for some reason. I wish I could explain that better, but I don't know. Maybe I was just in a bad mood. Season 4. Oh wait, do you have anything else to say about season 3?
Season 3 was the whole forest training thing, right?
Forest training, All Might versus All for One,
Mm-hmm.
or One for All. Wait, what's it called? What's he called?
All for One.
All for One, yeah. And then dorms and stuff.
Okay.
And then Bakugo versus Deku. And
I really liked the forest training.
Yeah.
That was cool. The All Might, All for One fight. Solid.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot weighing on that fight, and there was a
Dave's
lot of
caught up with the manga, by the way.
yeah, a lot of presence and power in that fight, which I really liked. Seeing the world's biggest villain and the world's biggest hero go head to head full power was sick.
Yeah. I agree with everything you've said so far.
And then the dorms, I didn't care.
Yeah.
It was just kind of something that happened, and
Yeah.
I just kind of spaced through it. But then that Deku Bakugo fight, at least for me, it was really important to me because that breakdown with Bakugo. So
I don't know why. That episode, actually, I'm remembering now. Like, I watched that episode, and it just put me in a horrible mood for some reason. Like, we tried to play Smash Bros. Afterwards, and I was just like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know why. I don't know what happened in my brain. That was just weird. So I think that's more of a me problem than a show problem. Season 4. Oh, by the way, I haven't mentioned this. Only thing I know about My Hero is the episodes I've watched. I haven't looked at anything about the community or what other people think, so I could just be saying the most basic takes ever. I just haven't seen anything about it really, other than basic stuff. Season 4, I didn't like it very much.
Before you talk about this, the more the more that we talk about season 4, the more I think about season 4, the less I like it.
All right.
Because I was like, it's really I'm just like I'm just on a bunch of copium, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm just trying my best to remember the good parts that I enjoyed, and just trying to forget all the shitty parts.
I mean, when you think about something you remember liking, like you remember the feeling you have in specific moments, but you don't remember like all of the details and like the actual quality.
And like rewatching it with you and like talking it out through you, I was like, oh man, this season sucks. but there were fun parts.
I did see I catalog all my stuff on my anime list. This is rated like an 8 point something, and season 5 is like a 7.4. I was like, what?
Bro, what?
I'm very confused by
Probably
that.
just because of that last fight, to be honest.
Maybe.
Because I know that last fight was taken super well on like most of the community.
I did scroll down in season 5 because I was like, I do kind of want to see what people say, and I posted this on Twitter. It was the word. It was such a because you can never trust you can never trust my anime list reviews, but I was curious, and then I read this review and I immediately was like, never mind.
The show got worse. I'm sorry, but what the fuck are you talking about? How is this any different than it has ever been? Ever since working from home being a thing, my alcoholism has gotten exponentially worse. I think I'm dying. Bro!
300. This is the top review. 354 people found this helpful. Like, I read that and I was like, never mind. Nobody knows what they're talking about. Let's actually talk about season 4, okay? As I said, I don't like it very much. Even the parts that I do like about it, I have major problems with. So let's try to start from the beginning and work our way through. We start with the big three. They introduce us to the big three. Mirio's the only one who actually matters in terms of the story. There's Boob Lady Nejire. That's her name, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't really do anything. Just another female character. Then
Sadly.
There's Mirio's friend, whose name I forgot. He's
Food guy.
Food guy.
Yeah, he can use his powers based off the food he eats.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He's just kind of there as well. He's supposed to be like a shy dude, but as someone who is like kind of like that person, I felt like insulted by his character a little bit because he was just really over the top and
the most pathetic shy character
Yeah.
that you could have. Yeah. I mean, I'm not shy at all.
Mm-hmm.
And watching that, I was like, come on, even I know shy people aren't this pathetic.
Yeah. Just watching like, come on, man.
You're misrepresenting us. Come on.
It was as is the norm with some of my hero characters. He was a very over the top portrayal of one like emotion or stereotype, and it did not.
His quirk was cool though.
His quirk was cool, but his personality, his actual character, did not connect at all. The inciting incident in the season, Mirio and Deku are walking down a street, and then a little child called Eri comes out, and they're like, "Oh, child."
Comes out of an alley.
An alley, and then Overhaul the villain is like, "Oh, this is my kid," and then they walk back into the alley, which is such a random like way to like start like a conflict. They just like randomly like walk into the freaking little girl coming out of an alley. It's like, all right, I guess. If they want to do the storyline, I don't know how else they would do it. It just felt really weird.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, how else would they have done it?
Yeah.
At least they did that so that Deku and Mirio care enough so that you care.
I guess. Yeah.
That was I think that was their goal, and there's no real natural way for them to introduce Deku and Mirio to a child that's been abused their entire life.
Yeah.
Without it just being accidental or just coincidence.
That was a small complaint too. It's not that big of a deal. It's just kind of weird. Overhaul, I just think is a very boring villain. I didn't care about him. Didn't really want him like to die or anything. I was just like, he's the bad guy and he's doing the bad things. I feel like he was just doing it because the plot.
I also didn't understand him. I just thought his power in fight was really cool.
What was his power? I forgot.
He could disassemble and reassemble
Oh yeah,
things.
that was a cool quirk.
Um, and I, he didn't feel like he had a real motive
Yeah,
behind what he was doing,
they showed flashbacks.
and I don't
I-
understand them.
Yeah, I was watching them. I was like, I could have missed something because that happens, especially when I'm binging something where I just forget something that happened earlier
Mhm.
because I don't have enough time to take in the information. I was like, did I miss something, or do these flashbacks just not make sense? Like I don't know what's happening.
It's always like it's something with his like dad or his
Or
grandpa
just
or
some
something.
kind of authoritative figure.
Yeah,
It's like there's not enough detail here for me to care.
yeah. It's like why he's all of a sudden this boss of a gang group. Why is he trying to invent these darts that get rid of quirks? Like why
Mhm.
is he doing what is he
It-
was he what? Why is he doing
Yeah.
what he's doing?
I feel like it felt like something it felt like something that was expanded on in the manga, and they just neutered in the anime. That's what it just felt like. They removed
Probably
all the
because
detail.
they just ran out of time.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what actually happened. I just think it felt like they just
I
dumbed
don't
it
know
down.
either because I
Yeah,
started reading during,
afterwards.
Yeah, during season 5.
Yeah,
as that was coming out.
but yeah, that's my thoughts on Overhaul. Eri is also, at least when she was introduced in the first arc, she just felt like a plot point. I didn't really care about her. Like she was just the objective that the characters have to get.
That's
And-
all she was.
Yeah,
Until the end.
until the school festival
Yeah,
part, where
the
she
school
actually
festival is when she started
became a
becoming
character.
an important character
Yeah.
because of her quirk potential with
Her horn thingy.
possible spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. Sorry,
We should
with,
probably put a spoiler warning at the beginning of the
Yeah.
video.
she becomes important because she has the potential to give Mirio's quirk back.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
and the potential to just be a super strong hero.
Yeah.
So
All right. Then we have a series of fights. First of all, I talked about the backgrounds earlier. They were just fighting in a really boring area.
it was so
to look
bland
at.
and
It was
dark
just
and
like
gray.
gray. I
Yeah.
love it.
Gray and dark.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. But there's what fight? There's the fight with Fat Gum and Kirishima.
That was
Uh,
cool.
I like this is one of the parts that I liked, but also I have a major problem with.
Okay.
I've talked about it. I think before. I was really invested actually with Fat Gum and Kirishima in their fight. Like they were about to be killed,
Yeah.
and then they cut to an 8-minute flashback.
Oh, which completely just ruins it. Yeah.
8 minutes. 8 minutes. That's like the whole episode. It's
Yeah.
like half the episode, and I'm like, how do you go from like on the edge of my seat, and then like a comedy flash? Like it starts with a joke.
Let me go grab a snack real quick.
Yeah, like, and what? So when they do flashbacks like this is one of okay, hold on. They do a lot of flashbacks.
Skinny Fat Gum is one of my favorite characters.
I really like Fat Gum, but they do a lot of flashbacks, which means some of them are just nothing. Some of them are really bad, and some of them are really good. This is one of the ones I felt like was unnecessary. By the way, I counted them for a separate project. 188 flashbacks in the first 5 seasons, which is 84% of episodes.
So 84% of the episodes you watch will have a
Yeah.
flashback in them.
I wasn't super consistent with what I consider the flashback, but I think it's close enough.
I mean, I think that might have been like life flashing before their eyes, but it didn't need to be 8 minutes.
Yeah, and like the point of the flashback, Kirishima was like, it was showing us why, like what he was about to overcome to get his like upgrade,
Mm-hmm.
or like he was overcoming a mental block. So it showed us all the way back to middle school. I don't think it was even like the source of the problem. It was just like another time it happened where like I think it was what was this thing? He thought he wasn't like good enough at saving people or something. He just not confident in himself, something like that. And you can have this moments, right? You can even like you could set this up prior. You can even put this flashback just in a previous episode, or you could just show Kirishima acting like he is in the flashback throughout the series. So then, when you get to the moment where he like powers up and like he goes from almost dead to epic moments, and it's just bam, bam, bam. You can do that just without the flashback.
Yeah, without cutting it off.
If you really need to tell the audience, like, in case they forgot, just like, uh, uh, it's just like that one time, or like, oh, just some kind of voiceover line.
Yeah.
Like into
Well, like
his thoughts.
time slows down and he monologues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the moment happens, but that's not how it goes, and it just feels really abrupt.
They blue balled us.
Yeah. It does not feel natural. Just the flashback just completely ruined the pacing of the episode, and it felt really unnecessary, especially for how long it was. So yeah, blue balled is a good explanation.
Yeah.
Then there's a fight with what's it? I forget his name. The Mirio's friend.
I also forget his name.
Okay, he had like purple hair or something,
Blue hair.
dark hair. Yeah,
Dark blue hair.
But that happened. I just didn't care. It was like the whole episode fight. I think.
Yeah.
A majority of the episode was that fight. You got him versus three villains. Three villains we have never seen before, and this new character that is just introduced, didn't have much screen time, and didn't really have much of a character, to be honest, other than being a loser. You know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
And like they showed a flashback to another flashback. They did it again, 2 episodes in a row, which actually that happens a lot. But they show a flashback to him remembering that Mirio is his friend or something,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, okay, and then he like still gets like beat up after that. It's like, all right, like whatever. I don't care. Can I just go to the next episode?
Yeah.
I feel like you could just honestly skip that episode and not miss anything.
No, you're right. There's
Like-
nothing important in that episode.
Yeah.
Except that the heroes made progress in the base.
Right.
But that's
But-
obvious.
Yeah.
You can
You
tell
could
that by
pick
the,
that up.
Yeah, by the next
It-
episode.
Like it's technically not a filler episode, but it feels like it.
It might as well be a filler
Yeah,
episode.
And since they were saving the animation for the end of the arc, it's also just not that well animated either. Well, I wouldn't say not that well animated, just basic animation.
Yeah.
That's for the Kirishima one as well.
Nothing impressive, but
Yeah.
nothing like...
It's not like, oh, this is bad. It's like it's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like the Kirishima moment could have been a lot more impactful with better animation, but they just wanted to save it for later. Which is fine. It's just meh.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah. Then I forgot I did that. I you know how I brought up the 3 things that are good about fights in season 2?
Yeah.
I did that here, except I was just like, they're all bad.
That's funny.
Unfortunately, I already talked about that whole fight, so I'm not gonna go over that. But you get the idea.
Yeah.
So yeah,
All the
that's-
good things about anime fights, none of these had.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I don't actually remember if it was interesting and like how they were fighting each other. So it could have had that going for it, but that's still like 1 out of 3.
Still failing, 33%.
Yeah, it's not gonna make up for the other parts. Yeah, that's how the fights. The League of Villains are also at this part. Just like Toga and what's his like Split, is that his name? Or
No.
like, it's something to that effect. The guy who couldn't split himself. I found it on my twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
Here's all the
Yeah.
names, by the way.
Twice and Toga are the only ones I really remember. I think Dobby was there also, maybe.
No,
And
I
Spinner
think-
was definitely there.
I think it was just Toga twice.
Oh, okay. They were there. They just weren't. They didn't do it. It just felt like they needed more people to fight, so they just kind of shot him in there. They didn't really have anything to do.
Well, they were there to infiltrate the gang because they didn't trust them, and they were
Yeah,
seeing what they
I
were
mean,
up to.
there's the plot reason they're there. It
Yeah.
just doesn't really feel like they're adding much to the
No,
the
I
whole
mean, yeah.
scenario.
Yeah, I agree.
And it which was disappointing because previously they had been pretty good villains that were intimidating and stuff. But there wasn't really a sense of like, oh, our heroes are in danger by these characters in season 4. I think they were fighting like Uraraka and like Froppy or something.
Yeah.
I was like, obviously they're not gonna die.
Yeah.
uh,
There were no stakes.
yeah, and that's a big problem with this season, by the way. No stakes. Although I will say that there are good consequences for the final fight of first season
Deep
4 arc.
consequences.
Yeah, but most of the
It
time,
doesn't impact any of the main cast.
yeah. This is where I just started writing it into a script, so it's kind of hard to find my points. Oh yeah, okay. The final fight thing is where I'm at. The freaking Mirio, Deku, and Night Eye are there to beat Overhaul and take Eri. Night Eye, by the way, introduced in this season. Well, I think he was like at the final scene of season 3, but that doesn't count. I don't think All Might ever talked about him, but
He was introduced in season 4.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's All Might's sidekick apparently. He exists. He has a really cool power, and then he dies. So, great. I feel like that character had a lot of potential, and then he just died. So, oh well.
I think that was more of a thing for Mirio than anything else.
It is, but also since Mirio lost his power, like he's just not in the next season.
Yeah.
So far, it just feels like Night Eye died, had an impact on Mirio, but then Mirio just disappeared. So
Now Mirio has nothing to do with his loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Where am I now? I forgot. We were at the last fight.
Yep.
We already talked about Mirio loses his quirk. That's a big consequence. So there are some stakes, which is good.
But again, nothing for really.
Nothing really for the main cast. Does anything anything else happen between that and Deku going 100%?
Not really.
Yeah. Okay. Deku goes 100%. It's a well animated fight. But I didn't really care about it because he's like Eri and Overhaul feel more like plot points as characters, like I mentioned earlier. So it's just like, oh, he's fighting a guy because he needs to win, and this will get him to 100% for some reason, and I didn't care. And
Do you understand how he hit 100%?
I don't remember. I probably did it.
So Ares' power is rewinding people's progress,
right.
and because Deku's body couldn't handle 100%, it was rapidly like decaying itself. But Ares' power was rewinding that at the perfect pace.
It's a cool like combination of power things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like I just narratively, I did not really care about what was going on.
They didn't give a reason for us to care about.
I didn't care about Eri. I didn't hate Overhaul, who I should have, because plot-wise he has abused children, like, horribly.
Yeah.
But I just, like, whatever. That's really all about the fight, I think. I think we've mentioned everything about, like, this whole arc.
Mm-hmm.
So, where do we go next? Mirio loses his quirk. Oh, I don't remember when specifically this happens. We talked about this the other day. At some point in season 4, there's something that Deku's like doing the impossible.
Oh yeah, Night Eye was like, "This is destiny. This is fate. This is bound to happen." He was like, "I'm gonna break destiny."
Yeah,
which makes it seem like nothing's set in stone, that anything can change.
Yeah, like if you, a lot of anime like goes on for long enough hits this problem. If you, make your character be able to do the impossible, you're bending the rules of your world to make your character be able to like succeed. There's never ever going to be tension again, because if you can just bend whatever rules you need for your character to win. So yeah, it just feels like BS, to be honest. Like Night Eye's like timeline runs out, and Deku's like, I'm gonna change destiny, and as a viewer I'm just like, no you're not. Like if you did, it would not make any sense. It goes against everything I've been told. See, I just don't like it when shows do that generally, so of course I don't like it here either. I'm trying I don't want to sound like I'm being too negative. I just don't have a lot of positive things to say about it that I can remember
about this season.
Yeah.
Lots of positives,
especially because like the last 3 seasons were like really good.
Yeah.
So it's a big disappointment
to have this random bad season.
Yeah. After this, we get to the school festival arc. Now, I've seen a lot of high school anime, so I've seen a lot of festival arcs, school festivals, other kinds of festivals, I guess, and I'm a fan of them. So I was excited for. Well, I was cautiously optimistic because of my poor experience with the first arc of the season, but I was looking forward to it. Did it deliver? Maybe, kind of. Like, yeah, we'll get to it in detail. So at the beginning, Mirio and Deku are visiting Eri at the hospital, and she's like, "I don't remember how to smile," which is just like, okay, like you're trying to make us sad, but that's a little too much. Like,
I don't remember this. Human instinct.
you can have like, oh, she's not smiling for some reason, or she can't smile, but like, I don't remember how to smile. Like, that's a little too disconnected from reality.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, whatever. They did a better job with her, as I said, in this arc than the last one, though. So she was cute. I appreciated it, except for when Mineta showed up. So Deku is hoping to make her smile, make her happy with the school festival performance that they're putting on, which is a concert. Jiro is doing like music and teaching people how to play instruments, and freaking Acid Girl, I forgot her name. She's teaching people how to dance.
Mina.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a whole show. This is good because it means more Jiro, except not actually that much. So
Theoretically more Jiro.
theoretically. So usually in school festival arcs, you see the characters come up with a plan, train to do whatever they need. Sometimes there'll be like a little surprise for like a few seconds of something we didn't see, and then they show the performance or whatever thing they're putting on, and it'll be the big payoff, and because be like, oh, are they really gonna be able to like do this thing? And then they do it, and that's usually how it goes, and it's usually like entertaining and like heartwarming and stuff. Here they start doing that. They like Jiro starts to teach people how to play instruments. Mina starts to teach people how to dance. Then we have like 4 episodes of a like basically completely unrelated villain fight, where Gentle Criminal and La Brava. I said before, I do really like them. I just feel like they should not be right here in the story, or not given this much time. I feel like they just kind of just invaded the whole school festival part, which made the school festival part weaker because they just didn't have any time. I feel like Gentle Criminal and La Brava should have been placed in an entirely separate arc, or just
their
not
story
in it at all.
revolved around
Like,
the arc.
They were like kind of like involved, but
I just think they shouldn't have made it as long as it was.
yeah,
I think they should have taken some time from the Gentle Criminal and given it to the school festival. I think that would have made. I think it would have fixed that issue.
It's like I like what's happening, but I don't like
How they're
doing it.
Yeah.
After the fight, we go straight to the school festival performance. So like the first 15 seconds of it, we see what they practiced, and then they just start doing all this crazy stuff. Like for like 2 minutes, I'm like, when did they have time to practice this? Like, I don't remember any of this.
I mean,
It's
they were
like,
all practicing this while Deku was out fighting.
How long did this fight take?
An hour and a half, but also, well, there was a big time skip.
Was there?
Yeah,
When?
during the fest, like during the point.
Oh, there was like a montage or something.
Yeah, there was a montage, but also a lot of the episodes I was focusing on Gentle Criminal and like the other things surrounding him. They were practicing the stuff. So,
But yeah, but basically, I feel like
that's another thing where the sense of time did not exist. So
Yeah.
you really couldn't tell what was going on.
It felt like the performance would have been a really like nice payoff if it was built up better. I felt like it wasn't built up very well. Like, there's obviously like in any like fictional thing, like, yeah, they are not going to be professional level like musicians in like a week or however long it took them to prepare this. So I'm kind of like, all right, I can maybe like suspend my disbelief a little bit. They went from like doing like to like flying all over the place, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Like I said before, like it's nice to have like a surprise for like past like what you've seen them practice,
Mm-hmm.
but not like the entire show.
The
Like, it
entire
has to
show
be
was
like
a surprise.
yeah, like 90% of it. It's surprised to be like
I feel like
5-10%.
the good surprise in that would have been Deku pulling Alma, I forget his name, the light, the light guy, and
Yeah.
having it be like the disco ball.
Like
That would have been a good
that would have been a
surprise.
good surprise. Like
Yeah.
when Yaoyorozu, when she like shoots like confetti out of her arm, that's a good surprise.
Yeah,
But the rest of it's like
the nice
what?
little touches that like they win over, and then they skip the stuff
Yeah.
that they didn't go over
Yeah,
was the majority of the show.
Yeah,
The good surprises they went over.
Yeah.
And the stuff we should have known they didn't.
at least it made Eri happy. That was at least like a nice wholesome moment.
Yeah.
But overall, it's just like this could have been done so much better.
She smiled.
Yeah. Wow, she remembered. Gonna. I think that's the end of season 4. Oh no, the freaking Endeavor stuff at the end was great. The last 2 episodes are Endeavor centric.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about season 5 Endeavor.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Endeavor
there's
versus the New Note.
one episode where it's just like the rankings or whatever.
Yeah, where
And they
where
also
they-
introduce Hawks, who turns out to be really cool in season 5. And then the fight at the end last episode, which wasn't like in the same arc as any of the other stuff in this season.
Yeah.
But it was a very good fight. It was like one of those moments where I'm like, yeah, there we go, like a legendary moment. I'm really glad they put it there though, because otherwise I would have like not have been as enthused about keep going in the series.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, it's good again, yeah.
Yeah. And also, I think it did a good job at setting up Endeavor's motivation to fix his family.
Yeah.
Which they continued in season 5.
Season 5, I'm gonna try to go through this a little quicker. Basically fixed all the complaints I had in season 4. I think season 5 is the best season since season 2.
I mean, it's basically just a different season 2.
Kind of. We start with the Class A versus Class B. It's not exactly a tournament arc because it's not a tournament structure, but it's just like groups of like 5 or 4 against each other from Class A and Class B. Again, it's just cool seeing the fights and stuff.
And the sudden improvement of Class B, I think, was cool, seeing their quirks and powers and how they fight, too.
I thought it was really funny that one like girl with horns that's supposed to be American or something. I saw. I took a screenshot. Hold on. I saw a comment because there's comments on Crunchyroll. I took a screenshot.
Bro, that mushroom girl.
Yeah.
I told you that one of their quirks is super fucking OP. She can just kill everyone instantly. Just grow mushrooms in their throat, which is what she started doing, and they're like, stop it!
Someone commented, why couldn't they just hire a Native American that can also speak Japanese to do her voice acting? Which is just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. There's so many facets to this that this person just doesn't understand.
Bad.
I'm not going to take the time to explain why this is all bad, because we're running short, but I just thought that was a really funny comment.
Classic anime thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so it was fun to see, of course, the Bakugo comes in with his remembering that, oh, right, to save people, to be a hero, you need to save people.
Yeah.
Forgot about that for a second. It was like, it didn't feel totally natural because he was just gone from season 4. I felt like they should have just done it in season, they should have just removed season 4 and just put season 5 in there. No, but
you wouldn't miss that much, to be honest.
True.
The only confusing thing would be Eri.
Yeah, I just felt like that moment should have been closer to the fight at the end of season 3. It would have felt.
Yeah, because I understand you kind of forget his whole change, his moment of growth.
Yeah. See, that was kind of weird, but also like I like season 5 Bakugo way more than the prior 80 episodes
because he's not a douchebag.
Yeah, he still is a little bit, but
that's just part of his. He's just a rude person. But he's not like
I don't like rude people, so I
he's not always a douchebag.
Yeah, it's I much prefer this to before. He's much more likable, as a character, just overall. He is like does like rude stuff and all that, but it's more excusable.
Yeah.
I'd say.
I mean, also
Like,
change doesn't happen immediately.
Yeah.
You see growth, which
Yeah.
I think is the important part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's a big improvement, I thought.
Very much so.
After that whole shebang where they fight each other, they do the internship again. Usually I'd be like, man, they're just reusing this idea, but then they were like, let's take Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki with Endeavor, and I was like, yeah. I'm in this now. I thought that was nice. This is, I think, also around when they started showing Endeavor like trying to fix his family stuff, which I thought was really good.
What do you think about Deku's new quirk?
It is a thing. I don't know.
You don't know?
It's a power.
I think it reveals a lot about All for One. I mean, one for all.
Yeah, I thought the stuff they did with One for All,
The Vestiges.
yeah, I thought that was all really cool. Like it reminded me of like Avatar,
Yeah.
The Last Airbender, how like there's previous Avatar stuff. You can go to the Avatar state and see them, and it was kind of similar to that, just with less less people.
Yeah.
That Deku could see like in dreams and stuff,
Um,
and he has more powers he can get. It's like, oh
yeah,
yeah,
you can work with the Vestiges.
now
to
I feel
unlock
like we have
powers.
potential again.
Yeah.
Because since like in season 4, it also felt like because at that point he had full control of his powers. The fights just got less interesting with him in it.
But now I think that he can use Black Whip, but he doesn't have full control. It adds that kind of like, he's going to use his power, but is he going to fuck everything up?
Yeah. So it feels like they brought it back.
Yeah. And also, what was I going to say? We just found out his last power.
Nice.
In the manga, like just recently.
And it's gonna end soon, right? This year.
Very soon, yeah.
All right. I'm probably not gonna read the manga. I'm probably just gonna watch the anime.
I'll just watch it.
We get a season like every year, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. The first time his like new power comes out, like Uraraka comes to like hug him or something.
Yeah.
And like
it's like
the romance subplot isn't that good, but I was like, they remembered. Because that season 4 they just forgot about that entire subplot with the romantic subplot with Deku and Uraraka.
Yeah.
And I was like I mean, even if it's like just okay, like just have it in there.
Yeah, you already put it in. Just keep it.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
And I feel really disappointed with her character too, because when she had like flashbacks and stuff in season 2, I was like, oh okay, I'm invested in this character. Then we got basically nothing besides romance for season 3. Then there was not even that for season 4, so she was just a nothing character for season 4. And then in season 5, they brought it back and they gave her a flashback in that moment. But the flashback was basically just, I like saving people. I would like to save Deku also. I was like, well, that didn't go anywhere.
It didn't build on the
right.
romance.
We're almost at the end. Yeah. So that's all that. I forgot. Yeah, the stuff with Endeavor's family and Todoroki and all that stuff I thought was it was good drama. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. There was a good fight with some dude that could change white lines, which is a very specific power. But all right, I guess.
Yeah. I thought that was a super interesting weird quirk.
Bro, imagine just being that one guy who's just like, I have the power to make toenails a centimeter longer.
Bro, imagine discovering that power and trying to discover what you're gonna do with it.
How did he discover that power? Did he get a white marker and just be like,
Bro, I just imagine he's just driving down the street with his mom one day, and then he's like, Mom, can we stop at GameStop? And she's like, no, and then all the white lions just kill her.
I feel like they would actually do that.
And he's like, ah! Yeah. And that's why he became a villain.
Okay. Yeah, so that arc was pretty short. It was like five episodes.
Yeah.
I did feel it was a little disappointing that the opening was basically centered around it, other than My Villain Academia, which is longer. Because in My Villain Academia, it was still showing Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki doing the intern stuff. And I was like, we're not that's unrelated now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then My Villain Academia I thought was great. I said that, the League of Villains kind of got dumbed down or were like, less interesting in season 4. Well, they all got backstories. We were made to care about them past, like, oh, their quirk is cool or they're crazy or something.
Yeah.
Like, in a very short amount of time, too. The flashbacks didn't feel out of place. They felt, like, necessary. Like, the backstories are really interesting. The freaking, what's his name? Shigaraki. His backstory was brutal. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, dude, that was that was harsh, and I liked that too.
It was great.
It fits his character super well. Yeah.
I was like, wow, I have a lot of well, not more respect for the character, but respect for the writing of the character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was super interesting, like, great. And then, like, he fights Dr. Doofenshmirtz. I felt like it was a great spot for him to, like, unleash his full power. His hair turned white. He started looking a lot cooler. Not that he didn't look cool in the first place, but it just epic mode.
Yeah.
That was the worst description I could have made.
I mean, it's true.
Made him epic mode.
Yeah.
He went
sicko mode.
Sicko mode. Turned into a Sigma male.
Started doing Fortnite dances.
But yeah, that's, I think, what happened at the end. I think that's just where it ended. Well, they had like another episode where they just went. That was weird. They just went back to one episode where it was just like normal school stuff again.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, at the end of season 5, they earned like Gargantuan's respect, and then it was continuing the plan.
Oh yeah, and then they had like not a cult, but it looked like that.
They had
they had their league. I forgot what it's called. It was like some kind of organization.
Yeah.
But it set up the next arc, which I am now excited for. I am looking forward to it. Thankfully, season 4 was just a fluke.
Dude, I'm also really excited.
I've heard it's really good in the manga. What are you saying?
Yeah, no, the manga. I'm really excited for it because I read the manga of this arc, and I'm so excited for it.
It comes out this year, October.
I really hope that they don't do another season 4.
Yeah, I mean, you never know.
Yeah,
like if season 4 just didn't exist, we'd be like, yeah, they're gonna do great again. But they did that just one season.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I can.
Now
trust
we know
Bones.
it's a possibility.
Yeah.
It's like when we were playing Fallen Order, something weird would happen, and we'd be like, "Oh man, please don't happen again."
Yeah.
We were always scared to do anything because we were always scared that would happen.
Back into the void.
Yeah. Now we're scared to watch My Hero because we're worried it's gonna be another season 4.
I feel like season 4 just it's just really frustrating because the show has so much potential, and like season 2, season 5, most of season 3 and 1 capitalized on it really well, and then season 4 was just like, here's like no potential. Never mind.
In the shithole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares? But yeah, other than season 4, My Hero Academia, I really enjoy. I think it's quite good.
Out of 10, what would you
Out
give
of 10, it's hard to give an overall rating of all 5 seasons.
Yeah, but give one.
See, if season 4 didn't exist, it'd probably be like a 7 or like an 8. But I think it's more around a 6 or 7.
I think it would be like an 8, 8.5. Actually, 8.5 might be a little. I think it's an 8. I would say, like, if I'm being generous, an 8, a 7.5 or an 8. But season 4 brings it down to like a 7, maybe like a 6.75.
Like season 4 was bad. It's not going to ruin the entire show.
Definitely brings it down by like.
It brings it down
by a point or half point.
Also, there's things that just bug me and like get on my nerves throughout the entire series.
Mineta, flashbacks,
like, all that kind of stuff. Like
emails.
That brings it down like another notch.
Yeah.
So a 6 isn't a bad rating, by the way. We're not using the freaking American grading system. It's not like a D. It's like above average.
It's like a B+.
Yeah.
It would be an A- or an A
like,
if it didn't have the like bad stuff.
I can show you what I gave to specific seasons. Season 1 a 7, season 2 an 8, season 3 a 6, season 4 a 5. I might even drop that further. And season 5 was back to an 8. So my enjoyment wasn't like totally consistent, but overall, yeah, like 6, 7, 8, 6, 5, 8
divided by 5, 6.8.
Yeah. So yeah, 6 or 7.
I'd round that up to a 7.
All right. But what if I drop this to a 0?
That drops it a whole point.
Yeah,
it drops it from a 7 to a 6.
It's around a 6 or a 7. I think it's good. I don't think everyone's gonna enjoy it. I think a lot of people will be turned off by just, the stuff that has gotten on my nerves. Some people will not tolerate it as much. feel like some people stop watching when it gets boring, but you know, it is mainstream, so I think
You have to like it,
like I don't
or you're gonna get
like
doxxed.
I wouldn't watch it with my dad, but like I would recommend it to like someone my age.
Like Squilliam Fancyson.
Yeah. What?
I said Squilliam Fancyson, but not gonna lie, in my head I was thinking Kevin.
Yeah. Wow. We gotta get Kevin to skip season 4 and watch season 5 because he's only seen up to 3.
Yeah, honestly, let's just tell him to skip 4 and we'll tell him the important part.
Yeah. Just be like, there's this guy named Demirio.
He's the best in the school.
He lost his quirk. There's a girl named Ari.
She was abused, and
Like
and
really, all you need to know about
struggles.
season 4 is the plot points, and
Yeah.
you're good. Like it. Like don't waste 25 episodes on it.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Actually, you can watch the Fat Gum episode.
yeah. Fat Gun episode. Fat Gun. Fat Gun episode is fine.
Why did I sound
But,
like Patrick there?
And skip to the last episode of the season.
Yeah, basically.
Like there's good moments in the season, but like overall, no.
It's not. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say it's worth a watch.
But that's my thoughts on My Hero Academia. I hope you enjoyed. Also, some of Gabe's thoughts sometimes. It's been a pretty long discussion. I didn't think it would go for this long, but hope you enjoyed. I'll see you maybe season 6. I don't know.
Cock and ball.